Several universities have now come forward suspending their MOUs with Turkish universities and institutes. This action has been a response to Turkey funding and backing Pakistan after the Pahalgam terror attack. Central universities like JNU and Jamia Millia Islamia universities were the first ones to suspend educational contracts with Turkish universities, followed by a similar action taken by Maulana Azad National Urdu University in Hyderabad, Kanpur University, IIT Roorkee and private universities like LPU and Sharda. This has been a part of series of boycotts against Turkey that also includes a CAIT suspending trade with the country. I'm now being joined by Vinay Kumar Pathak, Vice Chancellor of the CSM University in Kanpur, one of the universities that terminated its MOU with Istanbul University, citing Turkey's hostility towards India. Welcome. Thank you very much, Vinay Kumar Pathak, for speaking with us today. Can you shed some light on which Turkish universities you had signed MOUs with and what they were for?
We signed an MOU with the Istanbul University, which is based on the Istanbul, which is the capital of Turkey. And this MOU was basically for doing joint research, for doing joint programs, or joint exchanges. This I have terminated on 9th of May, when this all things have started, and we can know that most of the drones have come from Turkey. So treating them as an enemy state, I really thought that as a Vice Chancellor, we cannot have an education and terrorism side by side, or education and fights side by side. So I thought that it will be good to terminate this. And as a President of Association of Indian Universities, I have written to all the Honorable Vice Chancellors of the country, more than 12 Vice Chancellors, to terminate such MOUs if it is with Bangladesh, Pakistan and Turkey at starting. And I have requested that whatever MOUs we have, if it is with a state which is behaving as an enemy state, we should not go to sign any MOU.
Yes. What led you, and your university in the first place to support this Boycott Turkey campaign? What message do you believe needs to be sent out to Turkey?
This campaign was very, very straight. We cannot compromise with our sovereignty and the integrity of the country. As a nation first kind of thing, we have to give a very big message to a country who is behaving like an enemy, that look, we cannot have an education or any ties with. And still, I always feel that most of the people goes for destination marriages, for destination sites at Turkey. I will also try to say to other common citizens of the country that we should not add to the economy of that country who is behaving like this. Because India has helped Turkey at one point, and Turkey is behaving like this, and they are fighting for with Pakistan to India and actually supporting this war. This is not a war. This is actually supporting, after Pahalgam, the terrorist activities in the country. So they are actually supporting terrorism, and we should give a very strong message that terrorism and education and business cannot go together. And that's what our Honorable Prime Minister and Defense Minister has also said categorically, that see, the blood and water cannot go together. But what our Honorable Defense Minister has said yesterday in Gujarat, that Pakistan is on probation and we cannot be doing this.
But Vinay Kumar Pathak, there are others though. There are others though, like some students from the Maulana Azad University who oppose the termination of MOUs with Turkish universities. They claim it goes against academic freedom. How would you respond to them?
The academics and all other things, academics, business and all other things is after the nation. First is nation. And you have seen that how we got our freedom and how we have got our freedom struggle, how we fought. Lakhs of people have actually have not done their education, have not done their business and supported to this country for getting the freedom. So I think today those students should also, on their own, should see that nation is first, other things are different. Because if we are terminating our MOU, it means also we are losing points in the world ranking. But that doesn't matter for us. The matter is only that we are going and we are doing as a nation first. If the nation survives, then everything survives. If the nation is lost, and if then there
Well
is no
put.
value of the city.
Yes, well
That's
put.
what I
Well
always.
put by you. Well put by you. But what do you think now needs to be done next to cut ties with Turkey?
I think first thing we should cut with their economic ties. Number one is education. We all should think that we will not teach Turkish language. We will not, because when I went, I have seen that there are a lot of MOUs with the technical universities. The first important thing. Second important thing is that we have imported a lot of machinery items from Turkey, even including these metros are made by the drilling and all those things. So we should boycott them. We should have some more alternative kind of a thing. And that's what our Honorable Prime Minister and Defense Minister has shown also, that we should use made in India kind of things. And third, we should not do any destination marriages, should not do any destination, don't go to Turkey, and see that their economy is not benefited in any way by Indians until unless they are helping terrorists or the enemy state of ours. That is the thing. So we
Okay.
should suddenly cut off and do something which they also feel that it's why they have done with India, a good country, a country of sovereignty, a country which is leading, a country which has helped Turkey also. So we were having a lot of good ties with Turkey, but then they are behaving as an enemy state, so they should feel the brunt and they should feel the heat that what we should do. So I think these are all things we should do.
All right. My final question to you. What is your message then to Erdogan? Erdogan, who has, of course, supported Pakistan, supported terrorists clearly as well through his moves.
I think what we have heard about Turkey in last kind of a thing, that this president of Turkey is also not having good kind of a thing, and he is also behaving like a Pakistan non-dictatorship. So my message to our country is also that because I am not at the position, that our diplomacy should also feel and pressurize them that they should have more democracy kind of a state, because they are acting more as a military state. And second thing is, as soon as that, we cannot go together in education, economy, when you are trying to do this kind of things. So this is a strong message from every citizen of this country
Yes.
to Turkey. See, we are not going to come to your country. We are not going to have business ties. We are not going to have marriages as a destination to Turkey. And we are not going to support you in technology and all other things. This is a straight message we should give to them and their president.
All right. Vinay Kumar Pathak, Vice Chancellor, CSM University, Kanpur, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective on that story. Let me get in another special guest now. Dr. Ashok Daryani, Director, International Relations, Sharda University, is joining us live. Welcome. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr. Daryani. I think Sharda University has also taken a very strong stance vis-a-vis Turkey. Tell us more about it and what led your university to take that.
See, as a Sharda University, we have a very multicultural, multi-country population with students from more than 95 countries have experienced Sharda. And we have been promoting multicultural diversity. But this act of Turkey, every Indian citizen is deeply shocked, hurt, sad, angry, anguished by the Turkish military all-out support to the heinous acts of Pakistan in form of terrorism. And as rightly said by our Honorable Prime Minister, that terror and talk cannot go together. Terror and trade cannot go together. Blood and water cannot flow together. In a similar manner, we add one more dimension, that education and terror cannot be taught together. Terror and education, collaborative activities cannot go together. So seeing this and keeping in mind India first, Sharda University has immediately suspended, cancelled all MOUs with Turkish and Azerbaijan universities, and which we have taken very seriously. We as Indian citizens, everyone have to give to the message to Turkish and to Azerbaijan people, or maybe especially the politicians who are at the helm of the affair, that this act of barbarism, this act of terrorism cannot be supported in any form and in any country.
Yes. Is it time then, Dr. Daryani, for everyone to do it in their respective sector? You know, you're doing it as part of the education sector. There are other trade representatives who are urging those in trade to stop trading ties with Turkey and Azerbaijan. Do you believe every sector should take such steps?
Absolutely. Nation first. India is the first. Whether it is any obligation or whatever, we have to give the strict messages. We have to make them feel from each and every angle that India is united. India is a sovereign country, and nobody can just meddle around with the integrity of a nation of 1.4 billion population.
What would be your message to other private universities across India, Dr. Daryani?
My humble request to them, and I think many would follow, or should say everyone will follow in due course of time. And this is the time where we need to be united. This is the time we need to be one and give a strong message, not only to Turkey or not only to Azerbaijan, to the world, that India is a country with democratic principles, and India cannot tolerate terror in any form or in any kind.
Dr. Daryani, have you heard back at all from Turkey, from the universities there after you took this move?
We have written to them, and I think we will get answer maybe in the next week. But we are very clear, and we have been very explanatory in our message that this is we have to do, and keeping nation in mind. So we have been polite, respectful in denying all activities are in abeyance or have been suspended.
What would be your message to those who oppose this? Those students of a particular university, I think it's the Maulana Azad University, those others who say that this is against academic freedom.
See, again, I would only talk about nation first. So if somebody is saying, no, nation is second, then I cannot comment on them.
Absolutely. And Dr. Daryani, is it time then to adopt this strong approach? So you yourself are a professor of international relations. You know how international relations works. At the end of the day, it's time to let those know who are enemies of India that we will not take it lying down. And for what reason? At the end of the day, Dr. Daryani, we all remember how when there was an earthquake, India was one of the first to go and help Turkey under Operation Dost.
Absolutely. In 2023, when there was a massive earthquake in Turkey, India was the first nation to go with all full load of planes. And I think, and the best or the worst, if I can say, part of this is Turkey has never ever even criticized the Pahalgam attack, which nobody of any common sense can deny that. So this is absolutely rubbish. This is absolutely insane.
Absolutely.
This is absolutely unacceptable.
Which is why we said earlier, it seems that Turkey is not just standing with Pakistan, but Turkey is standing also with terrorists. Thank you very much, Dr. Daryani, for joining us with your perspective on that story. Let me quickly now also bring in Dr. Ashok Kumar Mittal. He's Chancellor of lovely professional universities, also Rajya Sabha MP. Dr. Mittal, thank you very much for being with us today. I think LPU has also taken a very strong stance. Take us through the decision you all have taken and what led to it. Dr. Mittal, can you hear me? Okay, I think we're having some connection issues with him. Let me join Professor Mohan Goel, Vice Chancellor, propounder, Needonomics School of Thought, who's joining us live as well. Thank you for speaking with us today, Professor Goel. Take us through the moves that your university is now taking.
Thank you, Mr. Uday Pratap. I am basically from Kurukshetra, and I claim Kurukshetra as a place to be the first ever university on the planet, because the objective of a university is to get knowledge, and the best possible knowledge was given by Lord Krishna himself in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Let me tell you, Bhagavad Gita is a reason-neutral, religion-free treatise on management, relationship management, and welfare economics. And my school of thought, Needonomics School of Thought, is practically talks of economics of needs and no to greedonomics, economics of greed. And let me honestly tell you, the entire kind of word problem taking place today in terms of war or terrorism or tariff terrorism by Trump, these are all the results of outcome of greedonomics. So as a propounder and promoter of neuronomic school of thought, I believe that we should boycott all trade relations, services, as well as practically the tourism, or even including education, with all such countries who are part and parcel of terrorism, which is caused by greedonomics. And I reject all kind of activities which are associated with greedonomics. So as a propounder and promoter of Nidonomic school of thought based on Gita, verse 9.22, which is used by LIC of India, Yogam Kshemam Mahamyam, your welfare is a responsibility. We should not allow any of the country, whether it is Turkey,
Steps.
whether
Has
it is
Kurukshetra
US.
University, does Kurukshetra University have any tie-up with Turkey and
No,
Azerbaijan?
no,
Would you urge them
tie-up with
to
Turkey.
take steps as well?
I am not aware of any relationship with Turkey.
No.
And let me honestly tell you,
But if there are tie-ups, would you urge Kurukshetra University to end those tie-ups immediately? Madan Mohan Goel, would you urge Kurukshetra University, if there are any tie-ups that they have with Turkey and Azerbaijan, to end those tie-ups immediately? Would you urge them to do that?
Holistic education.
Professor Goel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I am hearing you.
Professor Goel, if Kurukshetra University has any such tie-ups with Turkey and
I am not
Azerbaijan,
aware of that.
would
I am
you?
not aware
No,
of that
I'm
at
saying
the
if they have any such tie-ups, would you urge them to end them?
Yes, certainly. We are with the government of India and the fraternity of universities. I joined with the president of Association of Indian Universities, Professor Veena Pathak. He should write directly to all the universities, both public, private universities, to boycott all those countries. Even let me tell you, the mandate of NEP giving opportunities of opening the foreign university campuses over here is not in tune with the National Education Policy 2020, which mandates to promote Indian knowledge system and holistic education. Our education system is necessary and sufficient for our students. Therefore, we should not simply go in for a fashion and a fad of having MOUs with any country like Turkey.
Absolutely. There are those who are citing academic freedom, who are saying academic freedom is being trampled. Some students are opposing this from Maulana Azad University. What would be your response to them, sir?
I am sorry to say that this is not basically academic freedom going anywhere. We have to prevail upon our students practically. Our Indian knowledge system mandated in a national education policy. Let the entire fraternity of teachers should prevail upon the students that our education system with values, ethical values, and promoting basically universal brotherhood, global peace, and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We should not think of practically going in, joining with those countries which are entering into terrorism. Even United States, let me tell you honestly, as a student of economics, that tariff terrorism is doing more harm than anything else in the entire world today.
Yes, Professor Madan Mohan Goel, also, of course, as far as universities across the country are concerned, is this something you are going to urge them to do, both private and government? Are you going to write letters to them? Are you also going to make an appeal to them as an academic?
I'm going to write a blog today only that from the Neuronomic School of Thought, I prevail upon practically all the public and private universities on the ethical considerations, practically to basically show the university solidarity for ethical engagement until they don't mend ways and stop terrorism. We come out of the crisis. And let me tell you, we will have to prevail upon all those like-minded people to accept this neuronomic school of thought. Until we adopt this as a policy, we cannot sort out the issues.
Absolutely. Professor Goel, what would be your message to others from different industries, different sectors, also travelers across India?
Yes, certainly. Certainly. This is a kind of war, and even war of words. I am against practically the war of words which is going on in the world today, and that is more harmful than practically the physical war. War of words, it has to be stopped once of all, and as a relationship across individuals and the nations, we should adopt this neuronomics as a lifestyle based on...
My thanks to our guests for joining us. Let's take a very short break. We're back on the other side with lots more coming up.